What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting to you from the D. Slacking on my 10,000 steps today. I'm having to get most of them in this evening, but it still feels good out here. So, better late than never. We got to talk about Malcolm-Jamal Warner, man. He passed away on vacation, 54 years old. Gone too soon, for real. I refrained from talking about this because I wanted to have a bit more details on it. I didn't just want to do a RIP video like many others are doing. You got plenty of those to choose from, so I figured I'd wait on some details and then I'd make a video. So some have come out. Obviously, he was on vacation in Costa Rica with his wife and his 8-year-old daughter. He had made a video a couple months ago where he had a flower behind his ear that his daughter had gave him. This is a man that, for all accounts, everyone says was wonderful. A man, from all accounts, everyone believes to be a gentle, kind human being. And it's just really a tragic loss. We all knew him as Theo from the Cosby Show, even though he did several other things post the Cosby Show. He was always going to kind of be Theo. He was aging very well, right? Somewhere there was some portrait of him that was aging instead, because he was like, I don't know, man. They say black don't crack. He's one of those prime examples of it. He was aging very well. Apparently he was on a beach that is known for having hazardous water conditions. It has signs around that warn you of it. It even has directions on how to navigate. There's a sign there giving directions on how to navigate if you get, snatched up by basically a rip current, if you will. And it appears that, unfortunately, he was out there. There was no lifeguard on duty that day, and he underestimated the dangers of the waters that he was in. We always think we'll be okay, especially when we've kind of taken risks before, and we live to tell about it. We always think it's going to be never us. It'll be everybody else, but never us. And this is just a good example of that. Never think it can't happen to you. It absolutely can. This is a really tragic, unfortunate thing. He leaves behind a wife and a very young daughter. He was discovered by a lifeguard. Now, there wasn't a lifeguard on duty, but the person who discovered him actually was a lifeguard. Red Cross was called. They came about. They started immediately rendering care, but he was unfortunately pronounced deceased at the scene. The autopsy has happened, and it was deemed to be accidental asphyxia from drowning. So it's really sad, man. Bill Cosby spoke on it. Obviously, everybody was going to want to hear from him. He had very high praises for him. No shock there. The two of them, they were very close. Raven Simone spoke about him. She seemed very hurt by what happened. They've always seemed kind of like a close-knit group, even many years after they weren't on the Cosby Show. That was wonderfully displayed when Bill Cosby was going through his stuff. They tried to talk, asking this person and that person. Ask Felicia Rashad, ask Raven Simone, ask Malcolm Jamal. They wanted to know what they thought about the whole thing going on, him facing trial, and they held tight. Basically, all of them said the same thing. I don't know the person that you're describing. The person that I know is not capable of the things that he's being accused of. So they just really held firm on that, man. So that was that was really amazing because it just really displayed what a close-knit group they were. They never folded. So you skip forward to now, and one of them was lost in a very tragic way. I figured they absolutely would hurt, and understandably so. The Cosby Show, it was a great show. It was fantastic for its time. It's fantastic now. It's aged very well. It was a show that you had a mom and a father, black. They were professional people. They had kids that they were raising, in a well-to-do environment, but they still found ways to kind of have them be mischievous. I remember the one episode where Theo had got his ear pierced, and that was a hilarious episode because they were sitting on the couch and him and Cos was doing the leaning and stuff back and forth because he was trying to see Theo's ear. It was just great stuff, man. Really wholesome entertainment that is aged very well. To my understanding, even though we've heard from various different people, from people who knew him, like Tracy Ellis Ross, Adam Sandler, even he got his start on the Cosby Show. He was very adamant about how nice Malcolm-Jamal was to him. He treated him so well. They hung out together. They played basketball. They went out eating. He was just like, they were really cool. We have not heard, to my knowledge, from his wife. I don't expect to hear from her either. I'm sure she's very much still processing and grieving what happened. And I'd be remiss to mention this. You guys remember he was with what's her name many years ago, from Family Matters, the girl who played Myra. That was his, like, obviously he moved on and he found another woman to love, whatever. Remember, at the time, he was broke up about losing her because she had some sort of condition, and the treatment for it was going to render her to not be able to have kids, and that was unacceptable for her. She would rather just not be here than be living and not be able to have children. So he talked about her a few times over the years because obviously he'd be asked about it, and you could tell he still cared deeply for her. Obviously he moved on because he seemed to very much be happy with the family that he currently had. In fact, he said that was his greatest achievement, right? He said his greatest achievement was the life that he managed to build for himself post the Cosby Show. This is a man that very much loved life. He loved the life that he built for himself, and he was just overall a very good person to have around. We never heard anything bad about him, man. He was never in any scandals. To my knowledge, there's no mug shots of him. He was never messy. He was never in any drama, man. So it's unfortunate that things went this way for him. Just a great person, a wonderful soul, gone too soon. So I'm gonna leave it there, though, you guys. I gotta get up and continue stepping. It's starting to get a little cooler out here, just that quick. So I gotta give me a few more 1,000 steps before I head on to the crib. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. Hit me in them comments. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.